Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Shit's Hard. I'm your host, Amber, and today we are talking about life, because life is hard, obviously. It's been a long-awaited title tease. Life is hard. So we're just going to be doing a little overview of kind of what's going on, especially with Shit's Hard up here soon, and then some other just like life updates and stuff like that. So I'm going to be starting a new chapter of my life soon, and so we're going to go over that. We're going to do news for Shit's Hard and announcements, and we're just going to talk about a step in the right direction and kind of moving forward in this very slow journey, what feels like the slowest thing ever. And, you know, how this whole struggling in my 20s thing lasts a whole fucking decade? Like, are you kidding me? Come on. Like, that is too long. So let's get into it. So, like I said, first we'll talk about starting a new chapter and, for me, kind of what that's looking like right now. So I recently accepted a new job as a personal trainer at a gym, and I'm really excited to start this job. I'm a little bit nervous, and I really didn't make this decision lightly, because in order to take this new job, I did have to leave my old one at a different gym, which was actually kind of hard. It wasn't really what I was intending on doing, and I didn't really feel like my time there was done yet. But at the end of the day, you know, you kind of got to do what's best for you. And I think I partially was holding off on taking this new job because I was a little scared and a little nervous that I wouldn't be good at it. It's like finally I got my ACPT back in January, and so I haven't really been able to use it yet. And then, like, now I will be using it. And I don't know, I was feeling a little bit like imposter syndrome. And I don't know, like I was scared. And I think at the end of the day, that's how I knew I had to do it. Because it's not like I didn't want to take the job for any reason other than that. And I was like, to not do something just because you're afraid of it is not the way that I want to live my life. Even though it is hard and stupid. But I'm excited for it, or at least I'm trying to convince myself that's how I feel about it. But also, yeah, it was also difficult to leave the other place as well, because I did like it there and I liked the vibes there, but there just wasn't opportunity at this moment for me to grow there. And so ultimately I had made the decision to go to this other place and try it out, and hopefully things would be different and a little bit better. And it does feel like a step in the right direction, I will say. I'm kind of over this whole in my 20s figuring out who the fuck I am thing, because I don't know, it just feels like things are moving so slow, and I know that they're not, and I also know that I do need to like enjoy the journey and just, you know, appreciate where I am right now. But like, I'm gonna look back and be like, oh, I enjoyed those days. I should have spent more time in the present. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, but I don't know. It still feels like the other day I was talking with someone about the podcast and kind of how I was feeling about it. And I was like, is this what I want to do? Is this my future? Is my ultimate goal to have somebody pick up this podcast and like host it for me and pay me to do it? And that's maybe my full-time like job, takes up my whole day. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I just want to do this and only this. But it feels difficult because I think I've talked about in previous episodes, like being a jack of all trades and being interested in multiple things. And it feels like that can be a good thing and a bad thing because like, I definitely don't have like a straight path of like what I want to do. But I do have a few paths of avenues that I'm really, really interested in and excited to pursue and excited to try. I do love this podcast. I enjoy doing it every single week. And just the same, like I enjoy my own fitness journey and kind of getting my CPT, and I enjoy being in that industry as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what lies ahead, and I know that's not a bad thing necessarily. And I know everybody in their 30s or 40s would be like, I remember when I was there, and like you just need to chill out, enjoy the ride, and like struggle through it. And like if someone would have told me with this when I was in my 20s, but the truth is, nobody can tell you shit in your 20s that's gonna like make it better. Like the truth is, it just kind of sucks, and I feel like you just have to get through it. Like of like figuring out who you are and what your passions are. Like nobody can really tell you shit that would help you. Maybe a little bit. And it does feel good to know at least that I'm not alone and that other people who are in their 30s like made it out and are like, you know what, like right now I am very happy with my career and I was also struggling in my 20s and I figured it out. I made it out. I'm glad with where I am now. You will get there. It's going to take time, whatever. Like it feels nice to not be alone. That feels good, to at least know that like other people struggle with it. But other than that, it's like, yeah, other than that, it still is like, I'm still here. I'm still 22 and I'm still like wanting to find my way out of this. I'm such like a driven person. So it's like, I'm so like, I just want a goal and then I'm going to go for it. But I don't feel like I have that end goal in mind. And I think that's okay. Like I do, like I can see myself in my 30s, 40s, like being exactly where I want to be. And maybe it's somewhere that I haven't even thought of right now. So I know that's totally fine. And I'm fine with ending up in a complete different direction. I just want to know what it is. Like, just tell me. But I'm excited for this new chapter. At least I am in tune with myself enough to like know when I've made the right move. Just like when I left Ohio to come to California with barely even a plan. And again, no end goal in mind, really. Just looking for change. And I know that it was the right move for me. So it's like, I feel like this whole in your 20s thing is like, you just have to keep making moves, keep making decisions, keep trying things and stick with what works, ditch what doesn't, and keep moving forward. So that's kind of what I'm on. That's what I'm doing right now. We're all just winging it, you know? I think that's something that's very comforting too, that I've seen like a few people say, especially in regards to like adults. Like when you're a kid, you think adults have it all figured out, but like everybody is truly just winging it. Like everybody is just making decisions based on what they think is best for them. And it might not be what's best for them. And maybe later on they go back on that decision, but it's like the best that we can do. Like everybody's living today for the first time. Like even if you're 60, like you've never been 61. You know what I mean? Like if that made any sense at all. So that's where I'm at still. But in regards to Shit's Hard, a little announcement. I am going to be bringing season 1 to a close. This is going to be the last episode on season 1. So thank you so much for everyone who's kind of followed along with this season and hopefully enjoyed it a little bit. I hope gotten a little something out of it. And maybe if you were struggling with something, you didn't feel so alone, because that was definitely my goal. But not to fret, season 2 will be on the way soon. I have some good ideas for it. I really just, with this new job coming, and also like hitting 21 episodes, this is the 21st, I thought, you know what, why don't I pause the podcast, start this new job, hopefully learn a little bit more, become a little bit educated, and definitely have some more experiences to share with you. And then at the same time, I'm going to be, you know, maybe changing the podcast template a little bit, kind of changing just some like functional things and how they work, and kind of seeing where I want to go with that as well. I do think maybe I'm gonna plan a new podcast cover, so I'm excited for that because I always love doing stuff like that. I think it's so fun. One thing I'm so grateful for is like from architecture school is like the graphic design aspect, is I love doing shit like that. Like I'm obsessed with my podcast cover right now. I love it and it makes me really happy, and it looks like me, which is really the best part about it. And I hope the next one does the exact same thing, but it was so fun to do. Like really just to make it, to do the shoot, to edit it. That part was just so fun too. So I'm excited for that. And then, yeah, I'm also going to be kind of preparing for this personal training journey and kind of mitigating that and seeing where that takes me. So hopefully I'll have a lot more to talk about with you guys. I think I'm going to have maybe like a more of a theme for this season 2. You guys can definitely let me know what you think I should kind of move forward with. But obviously this podcast is a self-help podcast with a vulgar twist. And the goal is kind of to hit health, like physical health, mental health, overall wellness, with also a little bit of like, you know, struggling in your 20s, career stuff. But yeah, we'll see where season 2 takes me. I'm excited for it. I've already kind of got some things baking in the oven. So I don't know why I said it like that. So I'm excited. I'm very sad to pause the podcast. I like to be very transparent on this podcast. And obviously one thing weighing on me was, am I going to lose steam from pausing it? Because, I'm going to take a couple weeks off to kind of, regroup and replan for season 2. And so what does that mean for me and my own career? This podcast hasn't exactly like taken off yet. So it's like, is this the wrong move? Is it gonna be less relevant? Am I gonna be going back? Social media has this overarching dread of like, you need to be actively doing things all the time. You need to always be actively posting as often as you can. So it does stress me out a little bit to be taking off some time, but I think that's okay. That's something I should be okay with, especially being early in this content creation game. From what I've seen from other creators, they all say, don't burn yourself out and don't kill yourself over throwing some kind of content up every single day. And I don't want to face burnout, and I want to be really smart about this going in. So I think if I lose a little bit of steam, that's okay too. Either way, we're going to pick back up better than ever for season 2. And I'm excited for it. I am, because we're going to keep this health journey going. So, but yeah, outside of that, on a more personal note, things have been very interesting at my house lately. That was just something else I wanted to talk about on here is karma. Because I don't know, my one roommate is so into that kind of stuff of like the universe and like there's a reason for everything. And like if something bad happens to you, it's karma. And obviously I've been thinking about like, is that true? I don't know. I do think the universe has a way of like what's meant to be will be, what's meant to you will come to you. And maybe things do maybe happen for a reason. And of course there's always a lesson to be learned in the things that you go through, but also there's so many people out there who have so much shit happen to them and they never learn the lesson ever. Like they just never see the fucking point. But this last couple weeks has been so interesting around here. It's arguably bad things have just kept happening, and not to me, but so last week on Thursday, or I was like on a Wednesday, I don't even know. Corbin like woke up sick and was like, I feel super shitty. I'm not going to work. And I was like, okay. So I went to work, and by the time I got back from work, he literally had not left his bed other than to like take his dog out. And I think he got like Uber Eats. So he like went to pick it up, and that was it. But other than that, he did not leave the bedroom. The curtains were closed. And I was like, dude, like, are you dead? So sensitive to light. Like I opened the curtains, all this stuff. I was like, well, dude, what's going on? He's like, I don't feel well. Whatever. It lasted like the whole day. And by the end of the day, he had like, was rejuvenated, had like a whole nother blast of energy. So I was like, this is so weird. Next day, I go to work, then I go to the gym. And when I'm at the gym, Corbin left a bag of dog food near one of the dog's crates. Rookie mistake. So they broke into it and they ate like half of it. Luckily, my other roommate was home, and so he picked up the dog food and took it away from them, but they got through a good chunk of it. So I obviously came home from the gym and I was like, all right, like, are they going to be vomiting and shitting everywhere? We'll see. Let's just keep an eye on them, I guess. And then Corbin came home from work that day. He's like, hey, I talked to my mom. His mom's a nurse. Sorry, his mom's a nurse. I just like said that outside of the mic. He was like, I talked to my mom, like, I think we need to go to the ER. Like, what happened yesterday was just, like, very weird, and, like, the symptoms were weird, and, like, she's worried it's, like, a brain aneurysm, so we were like, all right. I was like, fuck, let's go. We go to the ER at, like, 7 o'clock at night. Long story short, he's there till 3 a.m. Yeah. You can only imagine the ER in fucking California, in Los Angeles, nonetheless, is asinine. So I ended up leaving around 1 because I texted my boss and like was like, I'm going to be late to work tomorrow, but like whatever, I'll come in at this time. So I came home at 1. Meanwhile, my other roommate, when we got to the ER at like 7, we were FaceTiming her, letting her know what's going on. She's like, all right, like I'll go home, I'll check on your dogs for you because they're about to yak everywhere. And I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. Well, then I'm locating her, like seeing when she's going to be home, mostly just because I'm bored and we're at the fucking ER with nothing to do. And then I see that she's past our house. And I'm like, where is she going? Then a few minutes later, I check her location. She's at a different emergency room. And I'm like, okay. Mind you, she was in the ER a couple weeks ago with kidney stones that she still hasn't passed. So I'm like, I text her, I'm like, what's going on? Well, kidney stone pain is back much worse than ever. So I'm like, holy shit, what is happening? Like, she's literally at the ER. Corbin's at a different ER. Like, I'm just like, well, what am I going to do? I stayed with Corbin until 1 a.m. until I got kicked out, and eventually they were like, you can't be here unless you're a patient, so you need to leave. So I left, and I took care of our dogs, and luckily there was minimal yak to clean up. But at that point, I'm texting my other roommate, seeing if I need to go help her at the ER, because, with kidney stones, they usually drug you up and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a crazy, crazy night. They were both okay. Luckily they're both fine, but it was just such like a, what the fuck is happening? Like, I was like, if I tell my boss, my roommate, and my boyfriend are both in the ER at different times or the same night for different reasons, like, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, no one's gonna believe this story. So, and then literally that was like, what, last week or 2 weeks ago? Like, that was not long ago. Literally, like, I think, yeah, a week had passed, and like, yeah, just yesterday, Corbin literally calls me. He's like, hey, like, I think I just wrecked my car. I'm like, okay. Like, he's like, I think it's totaled. So I drive to his location, like, and his car is like fucked. And I'm like, dude, what happened? And he's like, I don't know, blah, 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 like, whatever. And I'm like, something is in the air. Like, my one roommate who's so into karma and stuff, she's like, something's happening. Like, bad things have been happening all the time around here. And I'm like, dude, literally like every weekend though. Like, every weekend it's like a thing. Like, we're like just chilling and then something comes up. And I'm like, we haven't had a chill weekend in a long time. So it just feels like it's just been like shit left and right around here, happening every which way. But I don't know that I necessarily believe that every bad thing that happens to you is because you did something bad. I don't know. I don't know if I think that everything that goes around comes around, There's plenty of people who have a lot of shit and they're really bad people. So I don't know, but that's been happening to me for some reason. I don't know. I was like, I'm good though. I'm good. I didn't do nothing. But it's all part of it. That's been personal life. It's been a little stressful with that too. And now we're obviously trying to like share cars and all that kind of fun stuff to figure out what to do. So, but along that note, shit we're working on this week is going to be doing more of what we're afraid of, getting out of that comfort zone, and recognizing that, there's no growth when you're comfortable. I think that's just an important thing to remember. And that's exactly what I mentioned earlier when I was nervous about this job and like wasn't really sure, is that the only thing that was holding me back was being scared. And honestly, my own fear of being bad at something. And I knew that I probably am not going to be like amazing at this when I first start. So I think accepting that and being okay with that is such a good trait. People who are good at that, I respect the hell out of you, because I am not. But yeah, shit we're working on this week is maybe formulating good karma too, because he did something. I don't know what he did, but something is out to get him. But yeah, and also with the comfort zone stuff, I think like it's like so much easier said than done. But I guess if you're listening to this and you're debating on doing something that will make you very uncomfortable, I guess you should just know that I'm right there with you. I'm not saying this because I'm confident. Like, no, I'm saying this because I'm scared, and at least saying it out loud feels a little bit less scary. At least to tell the world, like, hey, I'm starting this thing, and I'm not going to be good at it at first, but I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do the best I can. And that's all you can do. I hate being bad at things. I'm like nervous to like do something wrong. I don't know why. With personal training, it's like, I've been lifting for a long time, but I have such a fear of not fitting in the fitness community, and it's so weird. Like, nobody's ever made me feel this way. Nobody's ever been like, you don't belong here, but like, I just like my own self-talk is like, oh, look, you're not like built enough for this. You're not jacked enough for this. You're not strong enough to be like a fitness instructor, or like I have a fear of like somebody making fun of how much I squat or something. Which like is so funny because I feel like anyone who actually lifts doesn't give a fuck what other people are up to. Like, nobody's like looking at someone else and being like, you could probably put some more weight on there. Like, I don't know. I just like or like form. Like I used to have a personal trainer a long time ago, and then now, like years later, I'm gonna be my own personal trainer. And I've been lifting ever since, but it's like, I don't know, it's been a minute since I've actually worked with like a trainer. So it's like, I'm afraid of like someone being like, hey, your form is really fucking bad. Me being like, oh, like, okay, which I don't even think it's bad. And I actually I I look at the mirror as much as I can, and I focus on form, but like, I don't know. I'm like very afraid of judgment in this industry, which is very weird, but certainly something that I will be working on. Absolutely be working on that, because I think confidence is important too, especially in the gym and especially as a trainer. Why would anybody trust you to make their workout program if you don't think you're capable? So, but I'm excited. Like, here's to fucking growth. Here's to being uncomfy and a little bit scared, maybe a little anxious. But just try it. Try the thing. Do the thing. And I think if you can go at it with the approach of like, embarrassment is like there's no such thing, I think you have a better outcome. So that's how I'm going at with just, I'm new at this. I don't have to be amazing at it. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn as much as I can from other people. And also remembering to give yourself credit where it's due. Because even like when I was talking with one of the managers, I was like, oh, how soon can I take clients? And he was like, as soon as you're ready, like your first day, like whatever. He was like, you're certified. Like, I trust you. And I was like, oh yeah. Like I did get a certification for this. Like I was like, I am qualified to do this. So, don't sell yourself short. Don't cut yourself off on the knees. You're more capable than you think. And of course, give credit where it's due. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's grow. So a few questions I'll leave below, and then I will end it at that. Do you struggle with getting out of your comfort zone? Because that's just like, it's so much easier said than done, you know? Like, let me know what you think. Let me know what you're struggling with. Because one thing that's really important, and I, with my own like mental health and anxiety, because anxiety fucking sucks, I've said to myself, I'm not going to let my own anxiety or my own fears stop me from doing something that I want to do. You know? And that was exactly kind of how I had to go about moving to California. It was very fucking scary. And there was not a lot of people who thought it was a great idea. But I knew it was for me. And I knew that the only thing holding me back from going to California was fear, was being scared. That's the only thing that was making me be like, maybe I shouldn't do this. And that's 100% why in that moment you have to recognize that and just say, that's why you have to do it. Because if the only thing that's going to stop you is being scared, then you have to do it. And so I did it, and I'm glad that I did. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. And you have to keep doing it, and you have to keep getting uncomfortable, keep putting yourself in positions to grow, to learn, and to become a bigger, better person than you were yesterday. Because going through this hardship, you're just going to be so more like well-rounded, educated, happier. I think there's a lot of happiness to be found in being uncomfortable, because there's so much room for learning. You know, it's arguably probably boring to continue to do the same thing and not challenge yourself. You know what I mean? Like, people actually love a good challenge, and it's so good for you. And I think what's funny about this whole thing is I know for a fact, come, I don't know, a couple months of personal training, I will probably look back on this moment, hell, on this video, and be like, look how scared I was. And I'll probably laugh, and I'll be like, that was fucking funny, because now probably, hopefully in a couple months, I'll be so comfortable and happy that I'll be like, what was I even so afraid of, you know? So yeah, let me know what you're struggling with, getting out of your comfort zone, and just know that I'm right there with you. And the other question I was going to leave, a little open-ended one, is how is life lately? How is life? And hopefully life is not hard, or at least not altogether. But let me know how you're doing, because I'm always telling you how I'm doing. And I guess on this one, I will see you in a couple of weeks. So it's not goodbye. I will see you later. How about that? So thanks again for joining me on this episode of Shit's Hard. I'm your host, Amber. Of course, during the meantime, if you're missing me, you can follow my Instagram. It's Amber Meisner with 2 R's. You can follow my TikTok, Amber Meisner with 2 R's. And I will see you in the next one. It'll just be a little bit longer this time. But all right, this shit is hard.